Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Wednesday, April the 19th. We do have another 3-game slate for Wednesday, guys. We got Game 2 of the Lakers and Grizzlies series, we got Game 2 of the Heat and Bucks series, and we got Game 2 of the Timberwolves and Nuggets series. We do have some injuries to talk about today, so this is a little bit of a different slate than what we've kind of had lately. There are some guys that are expected to be out today, so we're going to kind of talk about how that impacts things, if there's any value plays and stuff like that. But we'll go game by game, talk through each one of these 3 games, give you guys kind of my early thoughts on the slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Tuesday night. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos and if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you have never checked out PrizePicks before, PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks and use my promo code NOAH when you sign up. If you look at the bottom of the screen, when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, they are a player prop site. Very simple, very easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. It's as simple as that. You can see some of the props that they already have posted for Wednesday's games. They even have some props up already for Thursday's games. You can see all that's available on the board. Again, if you think a line is too high, you can take the under. If you think a line's too low, you can take the over. But they have a ton of different categories you can look at. They have fantasy score projections. So if you make your own fantasy point projections, or if you have fantasy point projections you have access to, you can compare those to PrizePicks. You can make decisions that way. So definitely give PrizePicks a try, guys. Use that promo code NOAH when you sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through this 3-game slate for Wednesday. Let's start off with the first game of the night, the Lakers and the Grizzlies. So we'll start off on the Memphis side, and the big news for Memphis today is that Ja Morant is questionable. We obviously saw Ja Morant injured his hand last game, didn't wind up coming back into the game. Don't know yet his status for this one. It seemed like a lot of the reports were kind of indicating he probably wouldn't play, but the fact that he's listed as questionable is kind of like I guess maybe somewhat of a positive sign here. Obviously, if Ja plays, I'd assume if he's playing, I assume he's healthy. Like, I assume that the hand injury he's got, like if he's playing, it's not going to bother him. So I think Ja, if he plays, is fine to go to. He wasn't great in game 1 of this series. In the 30 minutes that he played, only put up 30 Draftkings points, but this does feel like a pretty good spot for Ja. Anthony Davis is a really good rim protector, and we do see a lot of Ja scoring come at the rim and like on drives and stuff. And I think it is going to be hard for Ja to get a ton of points around the rim with AD kind of protecting the rim. But the Lakers do play fast. The pace of this game I think should set up pretty well for Ja. He's fine to go to, assuming he's able to play today. If Ja doesn't play, though, then it kind of benefits everyone. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Payne, Dylan Brooks, these guys all get a little bit of a boost. I will say that DraftKings did bump the prices on all these guys, so none of them would be glaring options today, but I think they'd all be viable. Tyus Jones at 6,700 would obviously be a pretty good play if there was no Ja Morant today. Jones, always been pretty good in the games he's played without Ja. The price tag is up to 6,700, so it's not like Jones is a free square or anything, but I still think he would project out as a pretty good option if Ja Morant is out. Don't think there's anyone else I'd really consider on Memphis, though. I don't think it really impacts anyone else. Definitely, though, if Ja doesn't play, I think Triple J looks pretty solid. I think Desmond Payne looks solid, and I think Tyus Jones looks like a pretty good play as well. Dylan Brooks would probably be my least favorite of all the Grizzlies. And then if Ja is if Ja's playing, then I think, Triple J, Bane, Brooks, those guys don't look nearly as appealing. I know Triple J had a really big game last game, put up 49 DraftKings points. But again, he's 9,300. I think in order for me to pay 9,300 for Triple J, I would probably want Ja to be out for him to be worth this price tag. And yeah, I just don't see anything else from Memphis. There's really no value to go to here. So let's go ahead and talk about the other side of this game now with the Lakers. And for the Lakers, as expected, AD, LeBron, both probable. They should both be good to go here. AD had a really big game in game 1 of the series. 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, had 7 blocks and 3 steals. Had a really big game on FanDuel and on Yahoo because of the 3 points for blocks and steals. He put up almost 70 fantasy points there. But big game on DraftKings too, 61 DK points, played 37 minutes. We know AD is going to play huge minutes. I think the matchup for him is pretty good. This Memphis team, especially without Steven Adams, we have seen them give up big games to bigs, big games to centers. So I definitely think AD looks really good. I'm fine with LeBron as well at 9,900. Between the two, I slightly prefer AD over LeBron, but LeBron's just been so consistent in the playoffs. He's going to probably give you, worst case scenario, 40, 45 DraftKings points. His floor is really, really high. I feel like you get a little bit of a higher ceiling from Anthony Davis, but Again, LeBron I don't have an issue with. And then the rest of the Lakers, I mean, I think these guys in the mid-range look pretty solid. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's only 5,800. Austin Reeves is only 5,600. These guys, got priced way down. Like, we were paying, almost 7K for these guys, last slate. I don't know why DraftKings lowered their price so much. I guess just to try and make the pricing a little bit softer. I think Russell at 5,800 does look pretty good here. Now, last game, Russell did get extended a little bit because Dennis Schroeder got into some foul trouble. I don't know if we get 36 minutes every night from D'Angelo Russell like we did last game, but clearly 5,800 is a much more reasonable price tag for Russell, and I think he's firmly in play here. And then obviously Austin Reeves had a huge game, had a huge fourth quarter last game. He was great, played 31 minutes, had 38 DraftKings points. His price tag came down to 5,600. I think Reeves looks like a pretty solid mid-range option as well. These guys, Russell, Reeves, they're not going to post huge games when they're playing with LeBron and with Anthony Davis, but they can definitely outperform these 5K price tags, where DraftKings has lowered their price to. And then, Rui Hachimura last game had a huge game off the bench. He played 30 minutes, had 40 DraftKings points. I have a feeling he's going to be a pretty popular value play today. But the minutes have been there for Rui. You look over their last few games, 23, 27, 30 minutes. He's kind of earned his spot in this rotation. He's been like one of the first guys off the bench. He's one of the first guys to sub in. So I think Rui plays 25, 30 minutes here at 4,500. I think he is a pretty good value play today. I expect he'll be popular, but I'm fine going there. And then the rest of the Lakers, Dennis Schroeder, I don't mind as a GPP option. Obviously, last game got limited by foul trouble, but we've seen Schroeder have big games off the bench. His price tag came way down to 4,100. I'm fine going to him in GPPs as well. I think he probably plays, at least 24, 25 minutes here, barring foul trouble again. Maybe he plays more if he's, playing really well. I don't think I would play Schroeder and Russell together because I think those guys do negatively correlate at points. It's at some, points. Like, there's definitely a chance that you don't see Russell and Schroeder out there together a bunch. I think they did play alongside each other a little bit last game, but there is a chance those guys don't close together. So probably would avoid playing Russell and Schroeder together, but I definitely think Schroeder is a viable cheap option. And then Jared Vanderbilt, he's been starting. Minutes have been not that great for him. He's only been playing about 22, 24 minutes a night. He's just kind of been out there for defensive purposes. He is really cheap, and we've seen Vanderbilt have good games at times, but not super interested in Vanderbilt here. Not super interested in really any other Lakers. So I think that does it for that game. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game, the Heat and the Bucks. So start off on the Milwaukee side where we have some more injury news to talk about for Milwaukee today. Giannis is listed as doubtful. Now, I would say right now just kind of, I expect Giannis to be out, but I wouldn't say it's like a guarantee. We've seen so many times in the playoffs, especially we saw it with Josh Hart on Tuesday night. Josh Hart was listed as doubtful for Tuesday's game, and then in the afternoon he got upgraded to questionable, and then he wound up playing. I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis winds up playing today, even though he is doubtful, but I think for now we just kind of have to assume that he's not playing. So if Giannis is not playing Tuesday or Wednesday, then we're going to see massive roles for Drew Holiday, a massive role for Chris Middleton, more opportunity for Brook Lopez, for Bobby Portis. All these Bucks guys look really good. I mean, they're not that expensive. Drew is 8,200. Obviously, in the playoffs here, we can expect Drew to play close to 40 minutes. His usage is going to be great without Giannis. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. He's too cheap at 8,200. He should be closer to 9K. Chris Middleton is too cheap at 7,700. He should be closer to 9K. This is all, assuming that Giannis isn't playing. I really like both Drew and Middleton a ton. I think it's fine to play them together. And then Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, I think both really look really good as well. Brook Lopez at 6,200. Don't love this matchup for him against Miami. We have seen Miami be one of the toughest matchups for centers this season. Lopez did not have the greatest game in game one of the series, but again, without Giannis, that obviously helps Lopez's ceiling a little bit. And then Bobby Portis, I expect will start here. He did not start the second half last game. They actually started Javon Carter in place of Giannis to start the second half. So maybe they start Javon Carter in place of Giannis today, but normally when Giannis is out, it's usually Bobby Portis who starts. So if Bobby Portis does wind up starting, he's going to probably be one of the best plays on the slate. Even if Bobby Portis comes off the bench, I think he's still a viable option at 5,700, but he's going to look great if he winds up starting. And then if we're talking about cheap values for Milwaukee, I don't really see a ton of cheap value here. Grayson Allen, I guess you could take a shot on. Maybe he picks up a little bit more usage without Giannis, but again, not a guy that offers a ton of upside. Same could be said for Joe Ingles. Again, Javon Carter started the second half last game in place of Giannis. Maybe he starts today. Highly doubt it. If he does wind up starting, he could be an okay value play, but Javon Carter, a lot of his best games have come without Giannis, without Drew, and without Middleton. When he's playing with Drew and with Middleton, his upside is just not nearly as high. So if I'm looking at Milwaukee guys today, assuming that Giannis is out, I think Drew, Middleton, Portis, Lopez all look really, really good. I would probably rank them. I would say when you factor in price, I think Portis is my favorite. Then Drew, then Middleton, then Lopez. But all four of those guys look really good today. Now on the Miami side, looking at the Heat here, Jimmy Butler just been playing absurd minutes in the playoffs. Got 43 minutes last game, 43 minutes in their play-in game against Chicago. Played 38 minutes against Atlanta. He's going to play probably 40 minutes here. He's been playing a ton. The usage has been great in the postseason. He's just had the ball in his hands a ton. He's driving to the basket a ton. He's getting to the free throw line. Like, he's just had an amazing role. He's been super aggressive offensively. I don't expect anything to change here, and especially with Miami going up in this series. I mean, if they can get another win here, and if they can go home, go back home up 2-0 in the series, I mean, that's going to be huge for them. So I think we're going to see, once again, massive minutes for Jimmy Butler. At 8,900, I have no issue going to him on this slate. I think Bam Adebayo at 7,400 doesn't look as appealing, but he played 33 minutes in Game 1. He did have 4 fouls, so I'm not sure I can't remember if he got limited by foul trouble or not, but Bam should play really big minutes here, assuming no foul trouble, assuming the game's competitive. I don't like the matchup a ton for Bam. Milwaukee's been a pretty good defensive team against bigs. Brook Lopez is a pretty stout defender, but Bam's a guy that can just do everything when he's on the floor. He's going to play a ton of minutes. At 7,400, he's still firmly in play. And then I guess the big news to talk about from Miami is that there's no Tyler Hero. We saw Tyler Hero injured his hand last game. It's already been reported he's going to be out for, I think, a few weeks. So without Tyler Hero, that definitely helps Butler and Bam. I forgot to mention that. No Hero is a pretty good boost for both Butler and Bam. It's also a pretty good boost for some of these guards. Max Strus, Kyle Lowry. We'll have to wait and see what Miami does with the starting lineup. It was Duncan Robinson that started the second half last game in place of Hero. So maybe they start Duncan Robinson today. Even though Robinson did start the second half last game, he didn't play a ton. So I don't think it's a guarantee that he starts here, but I did want to mention that Robinson did start in place of Hero the second half last game. If Robinson does start, he'll be in play at 3,100 as kind of a punt option. But I think the guys that probably benefit the most are going to be like Max Strus, Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin. Strus last game played 38 minutes, played a ton. His minutes should be very secure now without Hero. I think at 5,500 he's a playable option. I think Kyle Lowry's minutes are definitely going to be more secure without Hero. He only played 18 minutes last game, but I feel like most nights Lowry's going to get kind of mid to high 20s in minutes, and obviously there's upside for more if he's playing really well. No Hero definitely helps Lowry, so I'm fine with Lowry here at 5,100. And then Caleb Martin, I think, probably gets more secure minutes as well without Tyler Hero. At 4,700, he is someone you could look to as a value play. Again, we'll have to wait and see what the starting lineup is for Miami. If a guy like Martin starts, obviously he would look a little bit better. If they decide to put Lowry back in the starting lineup, he would look better as well. And then Gabe Vincent, I think his minutes also become more secure without Tyler Hero. I think he probably gets mid to high 20s minutes here. At 4,200, he's an okay value play too. Like, I haven't really been looking to Vincent lately, but I think not having Hero is a nice boost for Gabe Vincent too. And that's probably it for Miami. I know Kevin Love had a pretty good game last game, put up 31 DK points in 23 minutes. Maybe they play Kevin Love more after he played so well in game 1 of this series. Kevin Love is a pretty good permanent producer and doesn't need a ton of minutes to really pay off this price tag. So he is someone that you could definitely take a shot on in GBPs. Maybe they go back to Kevin Love in the starting lineup. We saw they did that earlier in the season. I doubt they do that, but I guess they could. But yeah, I think there's definitely some value plays from Miami here. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Lowry. I think all these guys get a little bit of a boost without Tyler Hero, and the minutes should be pretty secure for a lot of those guys. Once again, I think we can expect Miami to run a pretty tight rotation here. But that's probably it for the Heat. I don't see anything else that really stands out here. Victor Oladipo last game, even after Hero got injured, didn't even play. So I assume he's just out of the rotation. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, the last game of the night, Minnesota and Denver. So we'll start off on the Denver side, and for the Nuggets today, Nikola Jokic is listed as questionable, but he was participating in practice on Tuesday, and all signs are kind of pointing to him playing here. Really doesn't seem to be any issue for Jokic. He's questionable with a wrist sprain, but it doesn't seem like this wrist sprain is anything major. So expecting Jokic to play, and I think Jokic is firmly in play. I mean, obviously on a 3-game slate, Jokic is going to project pretty well. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that we did see Denver just completely steamroll Minnesota in game 1 of the series, and Jokic only played 28 minutes. That's my one concern. I think Denver definitely has a major upper hand against this Minnesota team, and I wouldn't be surprised if Denver blows them out again. But if somehow Minnesota keeps it close and Jokic gets 36, 37, 38 minutes, he could obviously crush, and he's had a ton of success against Rudy Gobert. Gobert, has never really slowed down Jokic throughout his career, so I think Jokic looks pretty good here as a pay-up option. He's firmly in play. The rest of Denver, though, I'm not really as interested in the rest of these guys. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray, he did play 33 minutes, got a little bit extended, in the blowout. He wound up playing a lot in the fourth quarter with the second unit before they wound up subbing the starters out. So, Murray at 7,600 I think is playable, but there's a lot of guys around him that I think I would rather play. Like, I'd rather get up to Jimmy Butler over Jamal Murray. I know Butler's a little bit more expensive, but I feel like Butler just has a much, much higher floor, much higher ceiling too. Murray's fine to go to. If I was going to play anyone on Denver besides Jokic, I think Murray would be the next guy that I would look to. But MPJ, Aaron Gordon, the rest of these guys, Bruce Brown, KCP, just probably not going to get there, even on a 3-game slate. Nothing else looks super appealing from Denver. And on the Minnesota side, Minnesota, these guys are pretty cheap. I mean, Anthony Edwards is 7,800. Karl-Anthony Towns is 7,500. Obviously, these guys didn't really have that great of a game because they only put up 80 points as a team. They got blown out. It was basically like worst case scenario for Minnesota in game one. I'd expect Minnesota to play better here. I think they probably keep this game competitive, so we should definitely get huge minutes for Anthony Edwards here if the game is competitive. He was playing like 40 minutes a night in those play-in games. Should play about 40 minutes here if the game stays close. At 7,800, this price tag is pretty cheap for Anthony Edwards. I definitely like Anthony Edwards on this slate, and I think between like Anthony Edwards or Jamal Murray, I would definitely rather go to Ant between those two guys. And then Karl-Anthony Towns at 7,500 I think looks pretty good as well. Towns should play huge minutes here as long as the game stays competitive. Obviously last game didn't get a ton of run just because they got blown out, but if they keep this one close, Towns probably plays about 40 minutes. The $7,500 price tag is a price tag that he can definitely pay off when he's getting 40 minutes a night. So I think Cat looks pretty good. Gobert, though, I'm not as interested in. I don't think this matchup's that great for Gobert. Jokic's done a pretty good job kind of keeping him off the glass, not really letting him score a ton. Just don't think Gobert really stands out today. There's other guys I'd rather play, price around him. I definitely would rather go to like Bam Adebayo over Gobert. I'd rather get up to Towns over Gobert. And then looking at some other Minnesota guys, Kyle Anderson going to come off the bench, still probably play pretty good minutes. Anderson has been a really good permanent producer, especially as of late. At 5,900, I think he's priced about where he should be, but Anderson's still a playable option. Mike Conley's price tag has come way down, I think at 5,400. He looks pretty solid today. It does seem like Draftkings has made the pricing softer. They lowered the price tags on a lot of guys. I guess, I guess people were like complaining that it was too tough to make the lineup. So 5,400 for Mike Conley. I mean, we were paying $7K for Mike Conley not too long ago, and now his price tag is down to 5,400. So I'm fine going to Mike Conley. His minutes have been much higher in the playoffs. They should continue to be pretty high as long as Minnesota can keep this game close. So I do like Mike Conley. And the last guy I want to talk about from Minnesota is Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been starting lately. I'm guessing he will start once again here. Didn't play a ton, only played 24 minutes in game one of the series, but NAW has been a pretty good permanent producer kind of throughout his career. When he gets opportunity, he can usually average close to a fantasy point per minute. If he plays 25 to 30 minutes at only 4K, he's going to project out as a pretty good value play. So I definitely think NAW is a fine value play to go to, assuming that he remains in the starting lineup. But that probably does it for Minnesota. I think that's everything that I like there. And that does it for this game. So appreciate you guys watching this video. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel, supporting the content as always. Make sure if you guys did enjoy this video, you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, again, go check out PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. You can use my promo code NOAH. When you sign up, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. So be sure to check them out. Use that code when you sign up and get your deposit bonus when you do sign up. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the video, supporting the content. Appreciate you guys a ton. We will see you in the next one. Peace.